So dear students, in the last class, we have seen about given some set of documents. Okay, you are giving the a document to two different people who are assumed to be the judges who will tell whether the given document is a relevant document or non-relevant document. Okay, so the judges are making some mark on the given document. Yes, this particular document is relevant, this particular document is non-relevant. Like that, the judge is going to judge the document. Okay, so now when it comes to this type of information retrieval systems, okay, so how we can effectively judge those results, that is going to be the outcome of the judgments. Okay, so that is what we have seen in the last class. For that reason, we have seen as a type of measure that is called as we have seen about kappa measure. We have seen, okay, given two documents, how we can find out the agreement, how far the judges are agreeing with their judgments. Okay, that is what we have seen in the previous class. Okay, so we have covered like Roccio algorithm and kappa measure. Now for today's class, we are going to deal with query expansion. Okay, so we have seen the various levels of relevance feedback. So given an IR system, several document corpus will be available. Okay, and then the query string will be issued by the online user. Okay, so based upon the just give me a minute, I'm finding it some difficulty in sharing the screen. Okay, so the user is going to issue the query, and based upon the user's feedback, okay, the documents will get ranked. Okay, and then based upon the documents which are being ranked, now we are going to reformulate the query. So this is going to be the architecture of a relevance feedback system. Okay, and now based upon the feedback that is obtained by the online user, okay, the revised query is going to once again, it is going to be given as input for your IR system, and the documents are going to get re-ranked. See, previously document 1, 2, 3 was going to be the documents which got retrieved. After the revised query, document 2, document 4 and document 5 is being retrieved based upon the re-ranking which is issued by the online user. Okay, so the issue is like giving the feedback. Okay, so now we are going for query reformulation. We have given an initial query based upon the Roccio algorithm. You have come with a modified query. Now, what are the other ways to reformulate your initial query? Okay, we have a solution like query expansion. Okay, query expansion we had. What is query expansion? Along with the existing query, existing terms in the given query, we are going to add some new terms, okay, which will help the search engine to retrieve the relevant document. Okay, so that is query expansion. Term reweighting. Okay, term reweighing is nothing but for the given query, we are going to increase the potential importance for the given terms, okay, by identifying some weights for the particular terms. Okay, that is called as term reweighing. Okay, for the existing terms that is available in the query, we are going to reformulate our query by reassigning some weights for the terms in order to retrieve the most relevant document. Okay, in order to avoid, in other words, we can say like by decreasing the weights for some terms which are irrelevant. Okay, so for example, if I'm giving a query term, okay, I will be adding some weights for some terms which have been very too closer to that query, which is too relevant to the query, and I will decrease the weight of the term which is totally irrelevant. Okay, so in these two ways we can reformulate the query. Okay, so how we can perform this query reformulation using vector algebra? We can perform that. Okay, so we have to identify the relevant document and irrelevant document. You add the vectors of the relevant document and you can subtract the vectors of the relevant document. So this is the Rocio algorithm that we have seen in the previous class. So now we'll go into the standard Rocio algorithm we have seen, and then these tunable parameters, everything we have seen. Now we are going into pseudo feedback. Okay, this is the type of feedback which is available, which will help you to retrieve the most relevant document. So the basic assumption of this pseudo feedback algorithm is you are not going to get the feedback from the user. Okay, explicit user feedback is not going to be obtained from the user. This is the very important thing. So the feedback is otherwise it is implicit. Okay, so what is this implicit pseudo feedback algorithm? Okay, so initially we are going to retrieve some documents. Okay, and we are going to make some assumption that the retrieved documents, we are going to rank those documents and we are going to compute the top M documents as the relevant document, and we are going to reformulate the query. Here, the manual intervention of obtaining the feedback from the online user is 0%. There is no such feedback obtained from the online user. Instead, what we are doing here, also the information retrieval system is going to retrieve the document. The documents which are retrieved, the top M documents. If I do have N documents, out of this 10 documents, I'm going to find out some 7 documents which are relevant. And based on those 7 documents which are identified to be the top N documents, based on pure assumption only. Okay, there is no any such proper justification or there is no such benchmarking measure or metric to identify the top M documents. Instead, here we are going to reformulate the query based upon blind assumption. Okay, that is what the drawback of the pseudo relevant algorithm. Okay, and then now we are going to identify the reformulate query, and once again we are going to allow the query to expand. Okay, and we are going to find out the query terms which are correlated, which are relevant to the given query, and we are going to proceed with the search. Okay, so that is pseudo feedback algorithm. So how this algorithm will work, we'll see with a simple architecture. Okay, so in this pseudo feedback algorithm, once again as a usual way, we are going to give the input for this query. Okay, query string will be given. The IR system will be initially generating some documents. Okay, and based on the documents, we are going to identify the top M documents based on pure assumption, assuming that these are the documents which are top M, top 5 or top 10. Okay, now the pseudo feedback, what it will do, the top M documents are assumed to be the relevant document, and this top M document is going to be obtained as the pseudo feedback, and the query is going to get reformulated. So initially what we have done, we have asked the user explicitly, we required the feedback of the online users, and later we have reformulated the query. So that was the previous method that we have seen, that is explicit feedback architecture. What we are seeing today is pseudo feedback architecture. Pseudo feedback in the sense, okay, We are getting some documents. Okay, we are getting some documents. We are assuming that the top M documents are the most relevant document. Okay, and based on those documents, we are reformulating the query. Okay, and this query has been given back to the IR system. And once again, this IR system will give us the re-ranked documents. Okay, so this is pseudo feedback architecture. Okay, so this as a concept we are going to see. We are not going to solve any big any uh, problems based on this. Okay, so what is the results of this pseudo feedback algorithm? Okay, so they have the performance with the benchmarking trick data set. Trick is going to be a benchmarking data set which they will conduct as a annual competition every year. Okay, so what they are going to do here is they have applied the pseudo feedback algorithm. Okay, and the constraint is since it is identified to be like top M documents are going to get identified here. The time it takes for the online users to give the feedback explicitly, okay, it can be avoided, and the time taken for the online users to examine and giving the relevance feedback, okay, those time complexity can be obviously reduced over here. And the pseudo feedback, even though time complexity is being there, okay, we have to compromise with the quality of the results of the retrieved document accuracy. Okay, so that is going to be the result of this pseudo feedback algorithm. Okay, so now we'll go for another interesting query expansion. Okay, query expansion. So we have an information retrieval system. We are going to give the initial query to the information retrieval system. Okay, just give me a minute. So now what we are going to do here is, okay, we are going to fine tune the query by expanding the query. How we can expand the query? Okay, even we have such experience while searching for certain terms in Google. Okay, you will be getting some recommendations when you start typing your query string that you are looking for. Okay, so in such situations, okay, how the query is getting recommended? It is nothing but the query is getting expanded based upon the most correlated, most relevant search terms which have been previously searched by the online users. So that is called as query recommendation based on query expansion. So how do we can find exact document which needs to get retrieved? Okay, here they are using a technique called as thesaurus based query expansion. Okay, so we know what is thesaurus. Okay, so we can given a search string, okay, you can able to identify some terms, okay, which are semantically and synonymly it is going to be relevant, and it is relevant, and it is going to be a related word and phrase, that is called as thesaurus. Okay, so for example, if you go with the term like physician, medical, medicinal, medico, doctor, MD, okay, general party, general surgeon, medic. So these are all some of the terms which are related with certain terms which are being searched in the um, web search engine. So how we can expand the query using this thesaurus? Okay, so given a term T, you can able to expand the query based upon the terms which are synonymly it is going to be related, and it is going to semantically, that means without changing the meaning of that particular term, we are going to add certain more weights to the original query without degrading the meaning of that particular query which I am giving as input string. Try to understand. Some terms you are going to search. Now, along with the search term, we are going to add some more weighted terms which are most relevant, which is most related to the term and it is highly correlated with the term, that is called as thesaurus based query expansion. For example, I am searching a term like interest rate. Okay, interest rate. So this thesaurus based query expansion, what it will do is, okay, it will identify the term which is most synonymly which is related with it by expanding it out like interest rate, okay, evaluation, interest rate for the given gold rate for a particular bank. Okay, what is the interest that has to be paid for that particular market in the GST bill? Okay, some of the terms which is highly correlated with the term will be expanded. That is called as with thesaurus based query expansion. So from where this thesaurus is getting the input, that is the next problem. Okay, so we do have several semantic based, like for every language, several detailed database of semantic relationship between the terms are being available as a library. Okay, so one of its type is WordNet. So it is very, very famous and it's been a old, okay, and it is very standard benchmarking semantic database that have a semantic database of library which contains all the English words which have been updated, even the words that we are using in day-to-day activities. Okay, because in nowadays we have been changing with the usage of terms. Okay, such words are also being used in the WordNet. Okay, so in this WordNet we have like uh, several English words, adjectives, and then all the synonyms of the nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, everything are going to be available as a syntax. Okay, so that is the source from where our thesaurus is going to get its input for expanding the query. Okay, so now we will see how this WordNet synset relationship works. Okay, so it do provide several levels of relation. Okay, one is you can see the opposite of it. Okay, antonym is there, and then attribute is there, and then alphabetically how we can change it from adjective to noun is there, and then the similarity will be there, and what will be the cause. Okay, kill, die. Okay, this type of words are being associated there, and then entailment, see over here, friend, okay, and then reverse of it back. Okay, and then attribute, okay, we have this bad to good, and then alphabetical to alphabet, unquestioning to absolute, kill to die, entailment, breathe, inhale, and then we have holonium, chapter text, meronium, computer CPU, hyponium, plant tree. That is specialization. Okay, and then part or a whole part or whole to part, specialization, that is hyponium. Generalization is hypernium. Okay, so this type of relationship between the English terms are available in our WordNet relationship library. Okay, so now how this WordNet can be performing the query expansion. Okay, so it will initially add the synonym to the same synnet, and it will add the hyponium with the to add with the specialized terms. Okay, and it will provide the generalized query using the hypernium, and then all other related terms which are associated here with this hypernet. Okay, they can be used in order to make the query to get expanded dynamically over a period of time. And another interesting thing this thesaurus will handle is it will have the statistical thesaurus. Statistical thesaurus means which item, which are the terms which have been most frequently they have been associated with each other. Okay, which are the terms which are most correlated in recent times, how they are semantically and synonymally they are connecting all the statistical analysis, how many users have used that particular search, what are the geographic places, for example, based upon some time zones from India, from Australia, from UK, what were all the terms which have been searched for. Okay, so such statistical thesaurus will also help us to identify the query expansion. We have two types of analysis. One is global analysis, another is local analysis. Okay, we can expand the query by global analysis. Okay, so it will find out the text similarity, okay, based upon the pure statistical analysis to complete that particular query expansion. That is called as automatic global analysis. Okay, so global analysis is nothing but it will find out the term correlations between the documents. Okay, and it will create a association matrix that will quantify how far a particular term is correlated with the other terms. Okay, and based on that it will expand that query. Okay, so that is called as automatic global analysis. It is based upon the purely similar terms will be added. So how we can find it out? Given a association matrix, you have to create an association matrix. Every word to word, it there will be a you will create a matrix row column. Okay, so for example, if I'm going to give a particular term W2, okay, to W3, what is the correlation value? So that will be available over here. So the correlation between the term I and term J is going to be available as the value Cij. So what is this F? Fik is going to be how many times this particular term W, let me take the term I and term J occurs in the given document K. Okay, so this association matrix will help to identify which terms are highly correlated, which have the highest correlation factor that can be identified using the Cij. Okay, so how we can find out the frequent terms based on this association matrix. Okay, because in some places we may have some value like 100, in some places we may have the value like 4 or 5. It will be very the values will be under some, it will be taking some values to infinity. That is it is a possibility there. Okay, in order to manage this, we are going to make a normalized association matrix. You see over here, in some terms it may be 100, in some terms it may be 0, it's in some terms it may be 2000. Okay, in some terms it may be 30. So how to distinguish between them, how to make them into weight them in the same scale? Okay, for that we are going to normalize it. So how we are normalizing it? So by normalizing Cij divided by Cii plus Cij minus Cij. So this is the formula for which we are going to normalize the association matrix in order to identify most frequent terms which are correlated with each other. Okay, in case if the normalized score is 1, what does it mean? Okay, which means that both the terms have the same frequency in all the documents and it has the highest frequency. Okay, so that is the normalized matrix. And then we have this metric correlation matrix. We have seen here association matrix. We have another matrix that is for correlation itself. We are going to create a matrix. Okay, so in case if your document is not going, if the association matrix is not going to identify the set of terms as we are expected, okay, so at such situations we can go for this metric correlation matrix. So what is this metric correlation matrix? We have a formula Cij. This is also like a correlation matrix. This is also like an association matrix. In case if your association matrix couldn't able to find out the query expansion by identifying the relevant terms, you can go for this metric correlation matrix as well. Okay. So given a set of documents where the same occurrence of the term in the given document can be identified by Vij, R is going to be the distance between the matrix. We are not only finding the frequency of the term in the document. Okay. In addition, we are going to identify the distance between the words. So how to compute the distance? You can use any distance function. Okay, you can make use of some Jaccard coefficient, or you can use some very famous cosine similarity between the document. Okay, so you can make use of the distance. See, in the previous example, previous matrix, whether we are finding any distance over here, no. Given some document, terms will be there. How one term and another term I and j is going to get having its occurrence, only the frequency is taken into consideration in our association matrix. In case if two terms are highly correlated, but unfortunately, if the documents that you are considering is going to have very few number of association between the terms. For example, I do have a term like Apple, I have iPhone. Okay, these two terms are very, very highly correlated. These two terms are more related to each other, but unfortunately, in the given document, the Apple and iPhone, its occurrence is only one. Whether I can go and rely only on this frequency, can I trust this frequency factor alone? No. For that reason, what we are going to do is we are going to perform this query expansion using this metric correlation matrix, so that we are going to make use of this WordNet and thesaurus in order to find out the distance between these word occurrences in other documents as well. See over here in different documents. What are all the occurrences between these terms? See, for the given document, I don't have Apple and iPhone. But when I go for some global analysis, where this Apple and iPhone is having a high correlation in the distance between these words they are very, very closely associated with each other, this metric correlation matrix will help us to do that. In the same way, you can normalize it. Normalize this correlation matrix between 0 and 1. Okay. So how we can perform query expansion with this correlation matrix? So what you have to do is you have to identify the first term in the query, and we have to expand the query with the terms with the highest value of Cij. So I have a matrix. Okay. So using this correlation matrix, there is a word I. Okay. I have identified a word which is being given in the query. In the given word, which other word Wj is having the, for example, this is going to have 0.95. Okay, so this is the word that I am going to give 0.6. This is the word I'm giving is as input, and which term has the highest correlation, highest value in my given correlation matrix, that will be added. Okay, and it will be identified to be the neighborhood of the term, and it will be semantically related with the term, and it will be expanded. So this is the idea behind this query expansion with correlation matrix. What is the problem with this global analysis? We have two types of analysis. One is global analysis and local analysis. In global analysis, if we are identifying some terms like Apple computer, the term ambiguity may leads to certain irrelevant documents to be identified. See, Apple computer is going to be like Apple red fruit computer. Since these terms are highly correlated doesn't mean that it always leads to a relevant document retrieval. Sometimes due to ambiguity of the term which are associated, okay, you may lead to some irrelevant document retrieval as well. So how to avoid it? Okay, you can go for automatic local analysis. Okay, so instead of going with some global analysis query expansion with correlation matrix. Instead, you can go for some automatic local analysis, like you can narrow down on which domain that particular Apple term has occurred. That is very, very important. Okay, so you have to locally analyze. Locally means you have to narrow down the domain upon which, the theme upon which, the topic upon which the particular term is intended to search. Okay, so at such local analysis, okay, you can find out the top retrieved, top ranked documents. Okay, and you can perform the local analysis of the retrieved document in the given specific query, so that we can identify the documents which are only relevant, and we can neglect the documents which is irrelevant. See over here, Apple computer is there. Previously, what was happening? Apple red fruit computer. That was the query which got expanded. That is because of global analysis. Okay, because Apple means so in many documents that we have, fruit may come, red will come, red color will come, A for apple will come. So many terms will available in our document. But when we are looking into this Apple computer, we are making a local set of retrieved document which is specified in the query, which is Apple and computer. Its theme is like technology is going to be the theme. It is not a fruit or food item that Apple red fruit actually gives. Okay, Apple computer, MacBook laptop. So this is how we can determine the most relevant and correlated terms to retrieve the relevant documents. Okay, so difference between this global analysis and local analysis is, global analysis is always computed based upon the correlation matrix. Okay, metric correlation matrix that we have computed, and it is very generic for and it is very generic, and it is used only once. Okay, the computation, once you computed a correlation matrix, it will be globally used, and the process of updating the correlation matrix time by time is very, very important, because we are dealing with several changes in day-to-day life. Am I right? So if you're looking for a particular search term 10 years back, it may result with some other web pages. Whereas if you're giving the same keywords, which even doesn't exist 10 years back, okay, which we are dealing with today, okay, will give us some different terms. Even we have WordNet thesaurus, I have told you, right? What happens if the WordNet thesaurus is not at all updated? It is totally outdated. In such cases, will you able to identify the retrieved document? No, the answer is purely no. Okay. So in such situations, you have to go with this local analysis, so that you can narrow down your topic or theme based search, and you can find out the better result from local analysis. Okay, so that is local analysis versus global analysis. And then global analysis refinement, how we can refine the global analysis. Okay, you can expand the query only based upon the similarity between all the terms in the given query. Okay, see here, if I'm giving a fruit, okay, fruit not added to Apple computer, because it is far away from the computer, so distance is far away, so fruit cannot be added. Okay, fruit can be added with the Apple pie, because fruit is closely associated with apple and pie. So this type of similarity based, that is similarity between the terms, distance function will help us to refine the global analysis. Even though this refinement have been made, this local analysis will always give you a better result than global analysis. Okay, so with this the query expansion conclusion is out like, instead of reformulating the query, instead of modifying the query, instead of refining the query, this query expansion will always give a better performance and better accuracy in identifying the retrieved document. Okay. And also the very important issue, like a bottleneck issue, this query expansion will do is, in some cases, similar terms identification, the thesaurus has to identify some terms, right, which is relevant. That should be sometimes we have to compromise with it, because it is recommending based upon the search. In case if a person that who is giving the input query string for the engine is not familiar with the knowledge of the terms, knowledge, doesn't have the vocabulary. Even sometimes we have some issues, like we know that particular topic, but we don't know what term we have to give for that particular exact term for identifying the search results. Okay, so such type of issues needs to be handled when we are dealing with this query expansion. So we have seen, like, given an initial query, whether you're going to modify the query or you're going to expand the existing query in order to retrieve the most relevant document. That is the thing that we have seen in our class. Okay, so I will stop here, dear students. If you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself and ask. I'll stop presenting here. I'll stop recording.